Hi everyone. I hope your studying for the exam is going really well, and I hope this video is going to help even more. So in this video I'm going to solve question number 5 from the slides on trade policy. This is what I've been asked to solve in class. A lot of you guys wanted to see how to solve one of these problems. And again, I think it's important that you already watched the video that basically discusses trade policy and seeing the big picture on trade policy, because it's important to use the 4 principles that I discussed there in order to solve any of these problems. So it's important to know what type of policy instrument you're going to be working with. So here we have a subsidy. Then what sector is it placed on? Exports or imports? Here it's exports. What type of country is using this policy instrument, and what is the market structure like? So in this case it's perfect competition. So that's basically what we need in order to draw our graphs. So usually as we draw these, there's going to be 2 graphs. One for the home market and one for the world. So the first keyword that I'm going to use is the perfectly competitive market, and that's going to let me know that at home my supply is going to look something like this and my demand is going to look something like this. Demand and supply. Now I did make them intersect quite low because I already knew that we're talking about a subsidy on exports. And what that means is it means that the world price is going to have to be somewhere above so that the amount of exports that I do are going to be so that I export rather than I import. Okay, so now we know price W is up here. Then we use the fact that it's a subsidy. What does it mean that it's a subsidy? It means that for each dollar, or for each export, because it's a subsidy on exports, for each export that a certain firm in my country does, the government is going to give it a set of money. So that means that the firm is going to get even more money from exporting above the world price. Okay, now to understand this clearly, we also have to draw the import markets of the rest of the world. So in this case, we just draw a downward sloping line for that. So this is exports or imports. This is the imports part. So here we can't really derive imports from the home graph, so we can just draw it whatever. And these are prices in the world. These are prices at home. This is quantity at home. Okay, so we have an import and we have an home export. So here, for example, if that was the world price, then that's what these exports are going to be like. And here, if this was the world price, there would be no export. So in this case, we can draw the export line, and that one has a bit of meaning because it depends on my home market. So this is the initial exports 1. Okay, and this exports here is going to equal to this quantity over here. Okay, so this is maybe exports 1, exports 1. Now, when I add this extra subsidy, it's basically like decreasing the price for the firms that are exporting. So on the export side, what this is going to look like, it's going to shift the exports curve to the left. Now it's going to be exports minus the subsidy. Okay, and basically this subsidy because it's a large country, and now the price of the world is going to change to this new price, P star basically. Now our subsidy, it's P star plus S. So now when we look to see what happens, we understand that the new level of exports is going to be that much over here. We bring that all the way down. It's going to be X2, which is the same here. Maybe I didn't really draw it to scale. But if I just put an X2 over here, I showed that I understand this graph completely, right? And then here we will note B, C, and E. And then here we can have E. And sorry, see, I made a mistake here too. X2 is not over there, but X2 is just going to be right to here, where we have the imports equal exports. If you don't do this carefully and you rush through it, you can make mistakes. So then basically this area E over here is the terms of trade loss to the home country, because by giving them an extra subsidy, the world prices go down because the exports shifts to the right. So that is going to lead to the world prices going down, and that's basically what this terms of trade loss comes from. There's still area B and D, we usually call this B, C, and D, and then here it's B plus D, and then here it's E, F, sorry, right? So over here E is basically the gains from trade for consumers, because now this subsidy leads to lower world prices. So consumers that are basically importing these products, they're going to win this area E, but then there's a total loss in area F and area B plus D. So this will basically show everything. It is important here that the subsidy is accompanied by a tariff on imports, because by placing this subsidy, if the home market didn't place a tariff, then people would just be able to buy goods at this new world price. But if it's also accompanied by a tariff, then the home market is going to have to pay P plus S at home. So that's why they only buy this many goods, and these are the goods that are produced in the home country. And the way we look at the welfare losses, right? Consumers lose, but some of it is gained. Consumers lose area B plus D, basically, A plus B, but some of it is gained. A plus B plus C plus D is gained by producers, and then area E, it's a terms of trade loss. I wish this video was a little better. As I was going through it, I think I could have done a bit of a better job, but basically you can see this by looking at the slides step by step and seeing exactly how this is done. So the key of this video, and then if you go through the slides, there's also a discussion that basically tells you exactly what's going on and why. This was basically to really show you and to help you understand how to use these 4 principles again, of knowing what's the policy instrument, what sector is it placed on, what type of country, and what type of market structure. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you guys do great on your exam. All the best.